Crying is really important. Crying purifies us and cleanses us. What is your relationship to crying? Do you not like it? Do you think it's embarrassing? Do you think it makes you be perceived as weak? Do you think that it's really nice, but you don't think people accept it, so you only do it when you're alone? Or are you kind of a crybaby? Do you cry a lot? I'm kind of a crybaby. And I always was a crybaby. That's what they call it. Because I've always been emotional, and I think that it's a gift. So if you have a hard time crying, I really want you to get in touch with this. It is so important to cleanse our perception, our eyes, through crying. Allow us to see the divine, beautiful nature of this reality. Without crying, we cannot see the beauty. So I invite you to listen to piano music, romantic music, anything that makes you cry. Those are the two for me that make me cry. Also, what makes me cry is certain movies where, for me, romance, the lovers are separated or someone dies, makes me cry. And maybe someday it won't, because I am consciously changing myself every single day and becoming a better person, and I cry only when necessary now. I used to hold back my cries. My cries were coming from a constant feeling of being attacked by life. And now I don't feel that feeling of being attacked by life all the time. I understand that it's my responsibility to put myself in places and situations and around people that feel good and aligned for me. So when you're crying, I want you to take notice of if you're looping and repeating the feeling, the victimhood, the sadness. If you're starting to feel depressed and you're melting into your bed, that is looping and recycling. And the way in which you can release it and release yourself from these limiting programs and beliefs and feelings in specific to crying is by making sure you keep your chest open. And if possible, do something that is symbolic of opening yourself. Because often when we cry, we go like this. And if you're trying to go into the emotion to kind of wring yourself, get that water moving, then you can do that. It helps. The other thing that helps is laughing is very similar to crying. Ha 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 ha. It's actually the same muscle group. So sometimes when we laugh uncontrollably so hard, we start crying because it hurts, or like something's happening and we're crying because we're laughing so hard. So another way is, if you have a hard time crying but you don't have a hard time laughing, then allow yourself to laugh yourself silly until you lose your mind and get those tears moving. If you find yourself blocked emotionally or with crying, does it come up when you hug somebody? And how often do you hug somebody? Because so many of us were not given enough physical touch when we were younger. We were not held. And it's very sad, because so many of us now don't feel like a hug would really help, or like anybody wants to hug us. But I bet you that a hug requested from you would be an honor and a pleasure and delight for another person to give, because they give it to themselves as well. It's a beautiful gift. It's free. Human connection is the most important thing to us. Without human connection, as a baby, we would die immediately. We need each other. It's okay to feel needy and dependent on a certain amount and level of human connection and trust. This is something that is established over time, more and more when you spend time with somebody. And also, the person that you spend the most time with is yourself. So, though it's only one avenue to hold yourself and cry, it is the most important that you can do that. So, as you are going through this journey in life and this journey on this program, if something comes up and you feel emotional, absolutely pause the video and cry and feel. Imagine that we're hanging out and something comes up for you and I'm your friend. I don't want you to suppress that feeling. I want you to feel it. You can pause at any moment and go and scream into a pillow. Or go and cry. And if you don't know what to do, dance. That is my recommendation for any lack of direction. Dance brings us out of our mind and out of time. It's non-linear. So I hope that you can experience bliss through whatever emotional release. And if you're having a hard time actually releasing it, it's normal. And reach out for help. I've got you. I've been there, and it does get better.